California is on fire. Things have got so bad that the famously publicity-shy Meghan Markle has come out for a photo opportunity and is hugging people. Honestly, haven't they suffered enough? People are dying, thousands of houses are burnt to the ground, and we pray for the children trapped in the basements of the Moloch-worshipping nonces who run Hollywood. How did it happen? California is one of the richest places in the world, but firefighters are complaining that there's no water in hydrants, not enough firefighters, or money or resources. There's lots of speculation that this is because the people running things have been focused on diversity, equity and inclusion instead of doing things like making sure there's enough water for fire hydrants or doing controlled burns. The left hit back saying, no, that's racist and far right. The reason these fires are happening is because of climate change and
genocide of the people in Gaza.
For some reason. So who's right? Well, let's listen to the people themselves. Here's Deputy Chief Christine Larson, who oversees DEI efforts within the fire department.
You want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
Yeah, that's right. Not only does she say that she can't fulfill core competencies like being able to rescue someone, she says that's the person's fault for getting in that situation. I don't know about you, but if I was on fire, I wouldn't really care much what the person rescuing me looks like. And if they can't rescue me, I'm not going to croak, hey, well, at least it was great to see a lanky Scottish guy just before my eyeballs melt from their sockets. That's some superb representation. Made me feel really represented. For an idea of how incompetent public services are now, she didn't just say this, someone higher up thought it would be a good idea to put this out as an advert. So far, 24 people have tragically got themselves in the wrong place and died. And here's Fire Chief Kristen Crowley, who was appointed in a blaze of DEI brownie points in 2022 as the first woman, ding 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 ding, and openly LGBTQ, ding 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 ding, maximum points, person to lead the LA Fire Department.
I'm super inspired.
She took time out of her already busy schedule to tell us about her vision for the department's future, one that includes a 3-year strategic plan to increase diversity.
People ask me, well, what number are you looking for? I say, I'm not looking for a number. It's never enough.
Out of 3,300 city firefighters, only 115 are women right now. She's already looking at ways to change that. She's quick to point out that doing so has a greater purpose, attracting the best and brightest for the job.
They feel included, they feel valued, and they feel part of a cohesive team.
The chief also checks another box when it comes to inclusivity and diversity at this department. She's a proud member of the LGBTQ community.
That just kind of opens the door of people that thought, wow, I didn't even know that was an opportunity for me.
Under her leadership, the fire department established its first Diversity, Equity and Inclusion Bureau in January 2023, so at least she's hitting those DEI targets, even if other people are having to DIE. Bizarrely, even while the disaster was raging, left-wing newspapers were crowing about her achievement of happening to be a gay woman. Amid Palisades fire, Los Angeles' first LGBTQ+ fire chief is proving lesbians get it done. Get what done? What's getting done? And of course, to put out fires, you need water. But LA's £750,000 a year water chief, Janice Quinone, sounds like she's motivated more by social justice and equity than actually making sure there's enough water for things like putting out fires.
You call it powered by equity, and I know that it's been really important for the DWP to put an equity lens on everything.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the number one thing that attracted me to this role. Coming from the communities that I come, seeing what I've seen through my career in utilities and through the military, it's important to me that everything we do, it's with an equity lens and social justice and making sure that we right the wrongs that we've done in the past from an infrastructure perspective and that we involve the community in that process. And this utility is serious about it, is authentic about it. And so I'm just super excited to be part of that movement.
Remember that social justice and equity are words that basically mean not hiring white men. I'm not saying white men are particularly competent, but maybe excluding them from the hiring process won't result in the best candidates. Anyway, apparently Janice knew about empty reservoirs and broken hydrants months before the fires. Although other politicians denied that the fires were caused by water mismanagement and empty reservoirs, Senator Adam Schiff claimed that the reservoirs were full, but the fire was too big for them to be any use.
To your understanding, why did some of those, or so many of those fire hydrants simply run dry? Was there something to do with that 117 million gallon reservoir in the Palisades that was out of operation? What's your understanding? What's your initial read on this?
Well, my initial take, and I certainly want a full review of this so that I can form a more complete understanding of the matter, but my initial understanding is the reservoirs that the Palisades were drawing on, these 3 million gallon reservoirs, were full at the initiation of these fires. But they're intended, frankly, they have the capacity to put out homes that maybe house multiple houses, not if the whole town is up in flames.
Well, according to the LA Times, state to probe why Pacific Palisades Reservoir was offline and empty when firestorm exploded. Not looking good, Adam. Although at least Adam had a go at making up some excuses. The mayor of LA, Karen Bass, was out of the country visiting Ghana during the wildfires and had previously cut fire budgets by millions to focus on DEI initiatives.
Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today? Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today? Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position? Madam Mayor, have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today who are dealing with this disaster? No apology for them? Do you think you should have been visiting Ghana while this was unfolding back home?
Fuck me, a face drawn on a wooden spoon would do a better job than that. And she'd previously criticised Ted Cruz for being outside of Texas during a natural disaster. She's now claiming that people are just racist and just want her to resign because she's a black woman. And she previously cut the funding by millions, so money meant for actual firefighting was reallocated to dumb virtue signalling DEI projects that make any organisation worse.
But the thing is, for sanctuary cities and states, they complain about the cost, but they continue to add services. I want to show you California. As of yesterday, California has added a health care benefit for migrants. They are now going to extend free health care to migrants between the ages of 26 and 49. That's going to cover 700,000 additional people and cost the state $2.6 billion each year. Now, that's added onto that's added onto California's deficit, which is already $68 billion.
Sorry, Californian taxpayers, but they needed the money to pay for gender transitions for illegal immigrants. America sounds like Britain. Did the DEI measures mean that competent people were turned away? Left-wing media themselves were suggesting exactly this about a year and a half ago. Firefighting is mostly white and male. A California program aims to change that. Adam Carolla, a white male, said he had to wait 7 years to get an interview with the fire department because he's a white man. He asked an obese black woman that was there when she applied, and she said last week.
I graduated North Hollywood High with a 1.7 GPA. I could not find a job. I walked to a fire station in North Hollywood. I was 19. I was living in the garage of my family home. My mom was on welfare and food stamps. And I said, can I get a job as a fireman? And they said, no, because you're not black, Hispanic, or a woman. We'll see in about 7 years. And I went to a construction site and dug ditches and picked up garbage for the next 7 years. I got a letter in the mail sent to my father's house saying, your time has come to do the written exam for the LA Fire Department. I took it and I was standing in line and I had a young woman of color standing behind me in line. And I said, just out of curiosity, when did you sign up to become a fireman? Because I did it, or a person, 7 years ago. And she said, Wednesday. That is an example of my white privilege.
Now, I'm not saying that Adam Carolla would make a better fireman than an obese black woman, but if he trips over, he's going to provide a bit less fuel for the fire. And the fire department shed competent firefighters when they forced them to get jabbed for COVID.
I love my job. I feel like I poured my heart into it. I promoted to the rank of engineer. So I got to drive the fire engine. got to do a lot of amazing things, help a lot of people in the city.
It's a difficult day for Matt Mamone. After nearly 15 years of serving with the LA Fire Department, he was terminated for refusing to take the COVID vaccine without applying for a religious or medical exemption.
These fires have been a bit of a Rorschach blot test with the left, claiming they're not down to DEI, they're caused by climate change. Well, incredibly, this is one of the first times that climate change has actually been captured on video, being arrested for starting fires with a blowtorch. Residents accused him of trying to start a fire, but there was not enough evidence to charge him with arson, police said, even though he's got a blowtorch and he's near a big fire. I'm not saying DEI is affecting the police too, but this would be like a 30-second episode of Poirot. And he's not the only one. Here's more climate change caught on camera causing the fires. Oh, there's so much climate change. Look at all this climate change just spontaneously appearing in the form of people deliberately setting stuff on fire. Although at least blaming the fires on climate change makes more sense than blaming the war in Gaza.
We just left the California Senate office of Alex Padilla, whose state is being ravaged by fires and the climate disaster. And at the same time, Congress is set to pass $8 billion more to Israel to continue to bomb and obliterate people in Gaza. We are drawing the parallels where people in communities in California are being evacuated from their homes, and people in Gaza have been evacuated from their homes for the past 15 months. Every bomb that goes off is being tested and built on sacrifice zones in this country, on indigenous land. We need that money for climate reparations, for healthcare, for housing, instead of going to further climate collapse and further the devastation and genocide of the people in Gaza. And so we are here today making the connections between the climate crisis, between endless militarism, that genocide is ecocide.
Whenever white women say Gaza like that, I cringe so hard I can taste parsnips. Some government departments were still functioning. Here's police handing out parking tickets while the city is literally on fire. Of course, any criticism has been dismissed as racism, yet it's now racist to not want to burn to death. But some Democrats managed to turn a crisis into an opportunity. Elizabeth Warren specifically used it as an opportunity to grift money by directing people to a Democrat-controlled fundraising platform that takes 4% of all donations and keeps it for the Democrats themselves. Hey, someone's got to pay for Beyonce's and Oprah's multi-million-dollar appearance fees. You might think that 4% isn't very much, but it's a lot more than the proportion of Cherokee blood in Elizabeth Warren. Speaking of fundraisers, Black Lives Matter leader Patrisse Cullors raised a lot of money off the back of St. George of Floyd and then spent it on one very specific black life that mattered a lot to her, herself. She bought 3 mansions in LA and 2 of them burnt down in this fire. Better get those donations rolling in again. Although tragically, Hunter Biden's home also burnt to the ground. He's as amazed as us that he didn't burn it down with a hot crack pipe. Will anything change? Sadly, California is basically an elective dictatorship. The left have such an insurmountable grip on the state that they can do whatever they want and won't get unseated. And there's not much of an incentive for them to switch focus to efficiently running things. There aren't any award ceremonies for controlled burns or having full hydrants, but there are award ceremonies for hiring obese, non-binary LGBTQ+ dwarves as firefighters. We've seen DEI ruin Netflix shows, and that doesn't really matter because it's just a TV show. You can just change channel. It won't kill you. But when DEI ruins things like aeroplanes and policing and the fire brigade, things get deadly real fast. Anyway, thanks for listening. Please share this video with your local DEI coordinator and like and subscribe. And if you want to support me making these videos, that'd be great. So you can sign up to my Patreon, which is a growing community of super cool Chads and Stacys who can see through all the bollocks. And I've got a long form video about the evils of diversity, equity and inclusion. I'll pop a link to that below. Okay, thanks for listening. I've been Leo Kears. Bye. Bye bye.